Hey guys, I'm back. This time around showing off one of the newer terrain pieces that I've been working on. This is a piece that I've been meaning to do for a while, and actually it's looking like it's going to be kind of part of a full set, since it's such a simple design that I'm actually going to be able to easily expand it out and do other variations on it. What this is kind of an Old West style building. Pretty sure if you've ever watched any Western or any of the modern retelling of Westerns, things like HBO's Deadwood or any of those, you've seen buildings like this. Pretty simple design. It's your standard row house style building. What's a very common thing for like the Western setting are these wonderful flat marquees that they used to put on the front of them. And it just basically made the building look bigger was the whole reason of it. So that when you went down Main Street, you really couldn't tell the size of the buildings. It just made everything seem larger. So that was one way of making your building and your business look bigger than it was without actually having to build a bigger building. This one, and I'm going to go ahead and stop it spinning. Whoops. See if we can stop this. There we go. Come on. Turn off. I can't turn this thing off. There we go. This one is... like I said, the first one in the set. There's going to be others. It's scaled in that right now. I'm going to try and move the camera in. Let's see if we can move this camera in a little closer. There we go. So it's scaled for your standard 28mm minis. You've got plenty of space for minis to sit. So for example, originally I'd intended on doing this top roof as kind of an angled piece, but then I thought about it. It was like, well, wouldn't it be, I mean, you're always having like the Westerns, the guy sitting on the roof shooting somebody. So this way I gave it just a simple flat roof with more than enough space for you to put guys up there. Down at the bottom I included, you know, like the walkway, so that way your guys could actually walk through. Let me move some of these lights and see if I can get a little more light down there. There we go. So I included the walkway, and you've got your door. I also did windows, and in the case of this one, these two windows actually line up from side to side so you can see straight through. But they're going to be different windows, and once again the windows are sized height-wise that they work out pretty well. Go ahead and pull this back a little bit so you can see. I haven't glued the top on any of these. The tops will pretty much, when the kit is done, will probably come exact same as this, and that they won't really be too much detail on them. Having a little difficulty coming up with a quick way of doing roof without going to engraving. Right now these are all just vector drawn lines that I used on this one for all the decoration on it. I'm trying to avoid going to engraving, because if I go to engraving, which is kind of, the engraving is what I have on pieces like this, where you can do textures and those sorts of things, or else as you've seen on like the, as you saw on like the zombie one, where that's an engraved one. With these, they're just vectored lines. The downside of doing the engraved lines is I don't get as much detail. The downside of doing the engraved, though, where I'm doing like this, is it takes a lot longer. Just doing the covers of these is like 5 minutes a cover, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that that's not a lot of area. I mean, so that's a fairly small engraving. So you can imagine doing something this big, which I mean is actually larger, a larger area, and I'd have to engrave across the full side of it. So I'm trying to come up with a decent drawn pattern that'll look good. Right now I'm still playing around with it, so eventually I'll have something. But the buildings are not finished on the inside. I'll try and get this down here. They're just open on the inside. And I did that. I also didn't include bottoms, and that there's no bottom on this building. Part of that is to cut down on the amount of materials. It's very rare that you're going to have actually interiors in a building like this that you're actually going to be able to use. Normally you're just going to want an interior, an open space that if you wanted to put somebody inside of it, some of your figures inside of it, you could. But you're not really going to be using the interiors. As well with the doors are actually glued shut on this one, but you could do it in a way that they were open. Who knows, if they take off, I may even offer an interior floor for them. But as they stand now, I'm not going to do an interior floor, just to cut down on the amount of materials. Every extra piece of material we add to it raises the price, and I want to kind of keep these buildings fairly affordable. So my goal for them, I think, is going to be between $10 and $15 a piece, with 10 being the most likely. But at least for one this size. But it's a pretty decent setup. The roofs are rather sturdy, and it is raised on some of these. So let me turn around to the back here. There you go. You can see that there are little raised elements. So you've got a pretty decent sized building. Marquees will come with them. And actually, I can even custom do marquees, which is one of the nice things. These are an engraved piece, but that's okay. Doing a few of these is not as big as doing something else. And because the marquees, I can do sheets of them at a time and just have them sitting aside, it's not that big of a deal. But I did some kind of sample marquees, so of course, Rock Ridge Bank. If you've ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles, that name should be pretty familiar. But I also did, you know, one for just testing out some stuff. So I did like a Johnson's General Store and a telegraph office one. The kit will likely come with one marquee of your choice. You basically, when you order it, you'll be able to choose exactly what you want it to say, and we'll work up something to get that information on, to get that on there. But it's kind of a neat little building. Included a little bit of plank texture in it, excuse me. But that's really it. I mean, it's a nice start to a western town, which would be perfect for things like Malifaux or some of the other game systems out there. Let's go ahead and put this thing back in motion. Let you guys get another look all the way around it. There we go. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, would like to know more about them, go ahead and drop me a line and get in touch with me, and we can see what's going on. You can catch us through email. You can email me at burnindesigns@gmail.com, or you can go by our blog and post there, or even send us a message through YouTube. And don't forget also, we also have a Facebook page, so we're taking messages there as well. So if you got any questions or anything, go ahead and hit me back with a call, and we'll see how it goes. Take it easy, guys.